Yuuji is a young boy struggling in his early years because he doesn't know his true qualities. He's a kind kid, but he doesn't know how to deal with people and gets bullied by his parents for having no talent. However, a tragedy reaches his house, forcing him to be trained, becoming the first super soldier at the age of 16. His parents believed he lacked talent compared to his older sister, Kazuki. His sister had always been perfect and excelled at everything she did, basically a genius. Because of that, he tried to avoid her. But unlike the others, Kazuki genuinely cared for him. Kazuki spent time playing with Yuuji and taught him things such as using both of his hands to his advantage. She also encouraged him to draw and displayed his drawing. But Yuuji knew that his art was nothing compared to her sister's. Despite this, he felt happy that he got appreciated. Later that evening, however, their father, Ryuji, became upset and ordered Kazuki to remove Yuuji's drawing since he thought it was a shame to their family. The following day, Yuuji encountered Kirihara Rei, a peculiar man. Before he walked, Kirihara offered him a chocolate after noticing him. Eventually, Kazuki's paintings became their family's sole income, which was why their parents became even more fond of her. Because of this, Yuuji grew further away and became neglected even more. His parents and Kazuki spent their nights eating in fancy restaurants, but Yuuji was always alone at home, with a slice of hard already bitten bread. Kazuki arrives and is shocked by what she sees. Yuuji needs to dip the bread in water to make it eatable. She rushed to the refrigerator and showed him what he could eat, but he was afraid someone might scold him for doing so. She assured him that she'd be the one to scold them if they did that. She felt pity and apologized that he had to go through such treatment. Yuuji heard her sister talking to their parents about their poor treatment of him, but nothing improved, it even got worse. His father despised him more, and his mother started to avoid him. One time, when Yuuji told Kazuki he had made a friend, she was happy. However, when she discovered his friend was a female, she got jealous and displeased. She didn't want him to make female friends, so she told him he needed to get her permission before befriending one. Kazuki normally lived as she wanted, and their parents went according to her will, but deep down, Yuuji was afraid of that side of her. He perceives her as a god and not as a human. He knew he could depend on her, even if he feared her. Kazuki's life was cut short one day when she was involved in an accident, which caused their family to fall apart. His father became an alcoholic and mistreated him and his mother. He even saw his mother being beaten up by his father while hiding in the closet since she was weak and would only say, "I'm sorry." The two of them fled when she could no longer stand to live with his father. His mother worked tirelessly to meet his needs as they both made a fresh start. Even though they were not in the best circumstances, Yuuji thought that his father's absence was heaven. They continued living like that for a year until his father found out about their house. Both of them got terrified as his father ordered him to buy alcohol. After doing what he was told, he found his mother getting harassed by his father. He tried to stop his father, but he got hit badly. Out of anger, he was determined to kill him. As he picked up the bottle of alcohol, he recalled what his sister asked him, "Which hand will you use to kill a man?" Without second thoughts, he raised his right hand and hit his father, which caused him to fall to the ground. He rushed to his mother, who looked like a mess. She worried about how they could run without his father finding out. She stood up and told him to run away and that she would follow him after. She handed him the pocket containing all their money and reminded him not to lose it. He asked where he should go, and she said he could go to the station. Yuuji ran away. But when he noticed that his mother was taking too long and heard the sound of sirens, he rushed back to their house. When he got there, he noticed a commotion and was horrified to see people carrying a body with his father's watch on it. As soon as he thought of his mother, he hurried inside, where he saw detectives documenting the murder scene. And when he realized it was his mother, he got horrified and screamed his lungs out. As he was catching his breath, he lost consciousness. At the hospital, he received his mother's letter for him. She wondered where she had gone wrong and apologized for what had happened to Yuuji. After reading the letter, he held onto it tightly and burst into tears. When he was discharged from the hospital, he was adopted by the strange man he had met, Kirihara. But his suffering was not put to an end. Kirihara dressed him as a girl and made him wear a wig identical to Kazuki's hair. Despite this, he endured them all without saying anything. One night, a man attempted to harass him, but he killed him. Kirihara found out about it and was impressed by what he did. He believed that Yuuji possessed something people should have, so he brought him to his training camp to make him a useful tool. Yuuji didn't refuse, as Kirihara told him it was the way to repay the favor of adopting him. His marksmanship abilities were found during his training. The other campers did not like him since Oslo liked him. They eventually bullied him, but a person named Marlin looked after him. She attended to his wounds and even gave him some of her food. She showed him kindness, which led him to believe that maybe the world wasn't that horrible after all. The graduation exam day came when they were assigned their final test. To pass, he needed to kill or incapacitate his opponent. But unfortunately, it was Marlin. Yuuji had the upper hand as Marlin was running out of breath. He looked at her coldly and dodged her attack. He quickly followed it by punching her hard and smacking her simultaneously. When she got up from the ground, he did not let her attack and ruthlessly kicked her in the face. She screamed, and while she fell to the floor, the image of his mother flashed back to his memories. Because of that, he started thinking he might end up like his father. He yelled as he began to lose control of himself, but upon doing so, he got hit by Marlin, which caused him to fall to the ground. She laughed as he punched him, and as a final blow, she kicked him into the air, which knocked him out. Marlin cried to him and apologized to Yuuji after the fight. Since his mother had said the same thing, he didn't want to hear such words again. He felt helpless and weak. That was the last time he saw Marlin, as she passes away in her first job. After 2 months, Yuuji was given an actual mission to determine whether he would graduate. He was tasked to assassinate people, which he found simple. The CIRS tried to investigate those cases, but they only knew that he was a mysterious boy since they couldn't find a lead about his identity with their investigations. But the mystery was put to an end during the night of the CIRS operation, where they infiltrated Oslo's residence and found Yuuji. Yuuji was discovered by Asako in an underground tunnel while he was tied up and ended up being rescued by her. Asako had taken care of him and their home was in the woods. He spent his days staring into nothing. Thus their first few days were not nice. He met JB there, who was Asako's friend and co-worker. Asako decided to bathe Yuuji as she was conversing with JB. However, they found several bruises and scars all over his body. Asako offered him food after learning that he was nothing more than skin and bones. They were interrupted while eating when Yuuji yelled out of nowhere after killing the fly on the table. He puked as his past traumas came back. Over time, Asako and Yuuji got along with each other. She gave him a dog which he named John. He became fond of John, which made him happy despite his traumatic past. Asako began training Yuuji. She taught him to be fast, use his strength the right way, and read books to gain wisdom. He also learned that she worked for CIRS, a Japanese-American anti-terrorism organization. The next day, Asako taught him how to shoot his target accurately and promised to give him a prize when he hit it. Fortunately, he hit the target, and when they got home, he saw a large case on the table. Asako told him to open it. He found a gun. Yuuji got excited and picked up the gun to try it. She takes Yuuji for a hunt, but when they got into the woods, he struggled to kill the deer as he was haunted by the past again. Then again, Asako let him be as she told him he was just a kid. Yuuji heard John barking in their house the next day. He looked around to see if Asako was back, but he was terrified when he saw that a bear had broken into their home. He rushed to get his gun, but when he gets back, he sees a lifeless John hanging on the bear's mouth. He aimed the gun toward it but still struggled to fire at it. As he kneeled on the floor, he called John's name, and once again, he chased after the bear by following the blood tracks of his dog. While chasing it, he was determined to get John back, as he treated him as his family. When he saw the bear, he tried to aim again but slipped into the snow and accidentally fired the gun somewhere else. The bear noticed and attacked him while he was only left with a knife. He tried to stab it, but the bear was so strong that it swung his knife in the air effortlessly. Slowly, he was getting scared of it, and the voices in his head encouraged him to kill it while he had traumatic flashbacks. He grabbed a stick in his hand and stabbed the bear in the eye. He was about to fire his gun. He spotted the bear's children and knew that it was going to feed John to them. At that point, he began to lose hope and wondered why his dog was becoming a bear's prey. He notices the bears slowly eating his dog, and he wept and threw up. While shouting and asking why, he pulls the trigger on his gun. He returned to the house while carrying John's collar, and Asako greeted him. She asked him if it was a bear and he revealed that he couldn't kill it. He started to cry as he felt useless, but Asako embraced him and told him he was fine just like that, which made him cry his heart out. After burying John's collar, Yuuji told Asako that he was sick of being a coward and wanted to be strong like Asako to protect his loved ones. She believed that because of Yuuji's past, he was designed to kill, which she wanted to prevent. She told Yuuji that he couldn't kill because of what she taught him, which would be the safety pin that he would only pull in critical situations. He wouldn't be allowed to kill someone unless she told him so. She also taught him that he wouldn't be permitted to die an honorable death unless he saved 5 people. At the end of her lecture, she told him that he must become a man who can pull the trigger without hesitation to save others, not for his own sake. One day, while Asako was resting in bed, Yuuji took a phone call from her work. According to the call, it was an urgent job for Asako, but she couldn't go. So, he went out to take to the job for her place. Some other day, Yuuji found JB and Asako arguing as JB discovered they switched places in Asako's job. JB argued that Asako was treating him like Oslo did, but he told her that he was doing it out of his free will, and that it was his way of paying her back. Asako asked if he wanted a license to work, and he agreed. Yuuji went to America to attend a naval training academy. In the academy, he met Danny, who eventually became his best friend. He also met Agnes, the army captain in charge of their training, known to be strict. However, she gave Yuuji special treatment since he was Asako's student. During their training, Yuuji was mistaken to have a false report for hitting all the targets, but Agnes backed him up and told the sergeant that he had unique marksmanship talents. Yuuji was assigned to a combat platoon. During the final exam, Yuuji was grouped with Danny, Millie, and Robert. While the group was walking in the forest, Danny saw a huge bird they could eat. Yuuji volunteered to shoot it, but after killing it, he vomited. He thought he already had tolerance for killing living things, but he was wrong. One night, while they were resting, Yuuji detected the arrival of enemies, and they prepared for an ambush. He threw up every time he shot the enemies. The group noticed it and told him to hang on. However, he came to realize that he needed to get back on track and assured them that he could still fight. They decided to counterattack the enemy. Yuuji closed his eyes to realize that his comrades were out there fighting. Danny called him a friend. Millie relied on him more than anyone. Robert stayed instead of wanting to run away, and Edward respected him. Yuuji's mind that the enemies weren't human but bad guys in green. He has to choose whether he would let his friends be killed or pull the trigger. Yuuji opened his eyes, more enlightened than before. He pulled the trigger and killed one of the enemies, followed by another. He was sick and tired of letting people he valued die while he was unable to do anything. That night, he told himself that anyone who wanted to take something precious to him would be his enemy. Yuuji got used to the battlefield after 2 months. He continued to fight with his group until their mission ended. He returned to his home, where Asako welcomed him. That time, he felt happy to be alive for the first time. While he was still confused about what to do with his life, he told her he would dedicate his whole life to her. After that, he took part in his final training, where he rescued Chizuru in Vancouver, and that was also the last time he saw Danny's friendly smile. He returned to Japan to find out that Asako's life is coming to an end. JB told him that Asako had been drifting in and out of consciousness since the other day. He went into the room and found her lying in bed. He held her hand and asked her if she was going to die, and she nodded. His tears started falling as he told her she shouldn't die on him. After seeing him cry, she laughed softly and said men shouldn't cry so easily. Yuuji looked up at her and told her he tried to live for her as tears fell from his eyes. He said that Asako was the one who gave purpose to his life and that what was happening wasn't fair. He refused to accept that she was fading away and that she was why he had someone to come home to. He looked down as he realized he was going to lose someone again, and he couldn't do anything about it again. He began to ask what would happen to his future without her. JB told Yuuji that Asako probably wouldn't be able to make it at the end of the day. He spent his time beside her bed while she talked about stars. She laughed softly and told him she was getting tired, so she asked if it was okay to go to sleep. He closed his eyes and gave her permission, where he wished her sweet dreams. After that, she never woke up again. Watch this next video. See you on the next one.